Welcome back. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has fulfilled one of his promises to make the menace of land grabbing in Lagos a thing of the past with the signing of the Lagos State Property Protection Law, stipulating that 21 years will be the jail term for convicts. Now, he has signed the law. Would it really end the menace of land grabbing? The governor also signed the State Neighborhood Safety Corps Law aimed at boosting security of lives and property in local government areas and local council areas in the state. But he says the laws will safeguard the lives of all residents and promote investment. Mr. Ambode said the Neighborhood Safety Corps will assist the police and other security agencies to maintain law and order across the communities, and the agency would also be saddled with the responsibility of registering all private home security and persons employed for such task. Now, all of that is grammar to a lot of people. The one they want to hear is about is the Omonile, the menace of land grabbers. Notoriously, they're called Omonile in Lagos. They're a group of men who claim to be members of legal or illegal families, owners with penchant for extortion at contract site, unending nightmare property owners, and all that, and all that, and all that. Hello. I know someone who bought a plot of land, left it for about a year. By the time he came back, the land had been sold. He had to buy it again. And then when he bought it, he now went to court because the other person that had bought came. Anyway, to help us answer all these questions and see how effective these laws will get to be is the alternate chairman of the task force to tackle land grabbers, Akindide Bakare. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We also have a legal practitioner in the studio, Ebuka Ekeanyao. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let me begin with Mr. Bakare. This law, two of them, but I'll focus on the land grabbers because that's the one that a lot of people will say is their biggest headache. Why a lot of people would rather go and buy a house rather than buy land and build what they will want. Tell us about the law.
Well, thank you for the opportunity for us to bring to the fore the provisions of the law and the succor that the state government seeks to give the people of Lagos over this very notorious issue. The law, just like you have introduced, seeks to protect property rights of people. It's become almost a notorious fact in Lagos that when you buy land in Lagos, the only time that you are sure is probably when you have built your house and you have moved in. The commercial aspects of it, too, is also very important. Companies buy land for the purposes of opening factories, for the purposes of building their businesses, and you find out that because of the activities of these individuals, you are not able to achieve your purpose of buying the property that you bought. So there are several provisions of this law that criminalizes the activities of these individuals called land grabbers. Alternate name for them is Omonile. Now, when the law was passed, as an aside, some people protested and said that legitimately, I am Omonile. Omonile means the son of the landowners. And that there are legitimate persons whose people have land, and to describe them and criminalize their name, they thought is unfair. But I guess when we talk in terms of the law that we are talking about, everybody knows the kind of Omonile we are talking about. They are the illegal ones, the people who have tribal marks and say they are Omonile in Lagos. And so the provisions of the law criminalizes, firstly, forceful entry into land of another person, forceful After forceful entry, forceful remaining on the land is also criminalized. Punishment for both offenses are 10 years imprisonment each. I may also point out that prior to this law, there was in existence in sections 52 and 53 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State punishment for forceful entry and forceful remaining on land, but punishment in that law was 2 years. So these 6, we have found, we have seen that that wasn't sufficient deterrent to the people who have the tendency to want to flout these laws.
Before we come to you, Ebuka, can you just paint a scenario for us? An encounter with an Omonile. Let's say I have purchased my land. And so what happens after I have purchased? I have come, you are the owner of the land.
Yes.
I have come to you, we have discussed, I have paid you the money for the land.
Yes.
What then happens? How do Omoniles come into the scene?
Okay. Now, there are several scenarios that are possible.
Okay.
One is when you buy land and you leave it, maybe at the time when you bought, maybe you have just saved up, you bought your land, so you are not ready to build.
Okay.
And the land is there. At the time you bought, the entire space was virgin land. 5-6 years down the line, neighboring plots have been bought, have been built up. So the Omonile has sold all he has, and still he needs money.
And mine is vacant.
And yours is vacant. Probably you do not visit regularly for them to know that you are around and that you are keeping an eye on your land. So they get greedy and find a willing conspirator. That's my opinion about the people who buy from them. Because most of the time there is an indication that somebody owns this plot. And so anybody that is buying knows that he is buying
somebody else's land
plot. That is one possibility.
Okay.
Another thing, and it will dovetail into other things, is a lot of people buy land without any documentation. So you buy land and all you have is a piece of paper, a receipt. You don't have a survey, for instance, that identifies your land in relation to the geographic information systems that will say, okay, this is the land you bought. A lot of people don't employ lawyers. You see people who've paid as much as 50 million naira